Sometimes the framework can fail. Sometimes our framework can collapse. Sometimes we find ourselves back at day zero again, having to reset our tracker, our counter. Maybe we say to ourselves, man, I thought I was doing good. What happened? Brothers, good day. And welcome to today's episode of the Porn to Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Sinkovitz. And today I want to share with you an idea, a concept, a mindset, a recovery mindset that will serve you throughout your journey and will serve to help sustain you for the life of your recovery journey with pornography. And that is this idea that the journey that when you fall down 9 times, you get up 10. And this is an idea that, you know, I'm sure you've heard this idea before, likely, right? It's not a unique idea to myself or the Porn to Purpose community. But the offering here is that this is very much a journey I have found of failing forward. I began my recovery journey back in 2019, coming up on 6 years ago. And does that mean I'm 6 years porn free or 6 years of perfection as it relates to pornography? No. I've had my fair share of failures and mistakes and struggles. But I have had, I can honestly say, 6 years of recovery. I do have 6 years of recovery under my belt. And what that essentially means to me is, while maybe it's not been perfect, I've been working on it. I've been developing and building the skills, the tools of long-term sobriety, of recovery over the years, and I have that tool belt with me. Right? I've learned that this recovery system that we put in place, it is very much a framework, and sometimes the framework can fail, but that's part of the journey. Sometimes the framework can fail. Sometimes our framework can collapse. Sometimes we find ourselves back at day zero again, having to reset our tracker, our counter. Maybe we say to ourselves, man, I thought I was doing good. What happened? And it's at those moments when we get to dust ourselves off and kind of regroup and reassess where we are in our journey, what went wrong, and what we get to do to improve. But we only get to, I would say, grow in our journey if we're willing to continue on with the journey, which means when we fall down, we stand back up, we dust ourselves off, we assess where we went maybe off track, and we continue on. So it's very much this journey of when we fall down 9 times, we get up 10. So it's very much this journey of we may fall down, but when we fall down, we utilize tools such as the Relapse Recovery Document, and we assess, and we say, man, what were the things that led up to my acting out behavior? What were the states of mind? What were the conditions? What were the triggers? What were the thoughts? What were the feelings? What were the patterns? What were the habits? I often say that we can see acting out behavior days, sometimes weeks ahead. Right? If we look back after an acting out episode, we can very often look back and say, wow, I saw that coming, but I didn't see it at the time. Maybe I was a little cocky, but if I look back now, I can see how I ended up acting out because the signs were all there. But if we're willing to be diligent, we don't have to take that acting out behavior, that tracker reset, as a failure. If we're committed to growth, we can take it as an opportunity to learn, to assess, and to apply those lessons moving forward to improve in our journey. So this is a lifetime journey, brothers. It's a lifetime journey of growth, of assessment, of improving over and over again. And there's an important idea that I think kind of serves as a frame for this work. And it's an important thing to remind her. For me, my experience is through the times of my recovery journey and before my recovery journey when I was just trying to just quit, right? And I really didn't have a framework or a process for my porn abstinence journey, my recovery journey. And that would be, man, I'd be doing good for a little period. And then I would act out again and I would have to reset and it would feel like a big, huge failure. And there's an important idea that I learned inside of the 12-step community, which I've been very active in for several years. And that is this important distinction between sobriety and recovery. And if you're taking notes here today, this would be a key piece for you to write down. And that is that sobriety is quantitative. Sobriety is quantitative. Recovery is cumulative. So sobriety would be likened to your day counter, days on the tracker. How many days porn free? Right? And for me, very often, and for many men, if I reset that counter or reset that tracker, it means I've failed, I've lost, right? I'm a big loser, right? But if we look at it through the context of recovery, we can remember that sobriety is quantitative, but recovery is cumulative, meaning even if I reset my tracker and I've got to start over again and I go off path, as long as I've been growth oriented, right, and I've been learning the skills, I've been learning the tools, I've been growing in all the ways that are necessary and important in this journey, even if I reset my tracker, I don't lose my recovery. I don't lose the lessons learned. I don't lose the tools. I don't lose the insights gained. Right? I get to stand up. I get to dust myself off. I get to apply the lessons, and I get to do better next time. I get to stand up. I get to extend myself grace. And I get to keep going. We get to remember that life is a journey, that this is a journey, that this is a lifetime journey. So that's the offer here today, brothers. The offer here is that we are building a recovery frame. And it takes time. It's like we're building a boat, and sometimes we recognize that there were leaks in the boat. There have been times when I felt my recovery was airtight and there was something I just simply couldn't see. And over time, those leaks in the boat can emerge. And it's really like, it's not our fault. It's not your fault, brother. What I'll remind you is, we're building a frame, we're building a boat. Sometimes leaks show up, and it's just our responsibility to be actively engaged in our recovery whenever those leaks do show up. So for me, it looks like, okay, I fell down, I had a good streak, I'm growing, right? Because I am tracking days. And I kind of got blindsided by something here, right? There's something I didn't see, right? I didn't see as a potential problem or a deficit in my recovery. So I assess what happened. I take a look at it. I tweak, I improve. I go through my Relapse Recovery Document. I check in with my community. I'm visible around it, so I'm not sitting there with all the shame and all the story around it. I check in with my community. I assess. I go through my doc. I share it with my community, and I improve upon my system. I tweak my system. I make a new commitment. I say, all right, here's what I'm going to do to improve that piece of my recovery framework. Here's what I want to do to improve that leak in the boat. So that's my offer to you, brother. This is a lifetime journey. It's a journey of progress over perfection. And whenever you fall down 9 times, it's about a commitment to getting up a 10th time. And over time, as you commit to that, as you commit to a path of growth, as you commit to a path of learning, as you commit to a path of true recovery, you'll find that those days porn free are growing longer and longer in between. And you commit to this path of growth and evolution as a man. And over time, you find that less and less is pornography relevant for who you are. Less and less is there a place for it in your life. Recognizing more and more actually that it hurts more than it helps. And it's something that will likely always need to be vigilant around. I recognize that for myself. It's something I get to always be watchful on, just like my relationship with food. If I'm not sharp, if I'm not on top of it, if I'm not on point, if I'm not connected with my community, if I'm not doing my work, the food stuff begins to slip back in. Old patterns begin to emerge. Right? It just seems to be part of my DNA. Food and sex, those have always been my big ones. And so I get to be watchful of those. Brothers, I hope you've found this conversation helpful today, giving you hope, reminding you it's not about a one-time quick fix or a silver bullet or taking a special pill and we're done and we're fixed and porn's no longer a problem. It's about a journey of progress. It's about a journey of evolution. It's about a journey of recovery, lifetime recovery. We love and appreciate you. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We'd love to connect with you over in the Porn to Purpose community. We'd love to invite you to subscribe to the podcast if you're finding today's conversation valuable. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Peace and power, my brothers. We are noble men.